but you did bring up a point that I touched on a little bit earlier, is so is there, what's the difference between a person who makes a list, wants to be busy all the time, and doesn't seem to pay attention, shall we say, to spiritual things? And there have been several books that written on this subject, how those two can in fact interlock, so that our daily action, no matter how menial they might be, can be seen as a spiritual action. And I think some of the quotations that we've got there tend to support this kind of idea. And the one I really love is the one from Mother Teresa.
Yes.
It's nice because it's one sentence as well. And she says that God doesn't look at how much we do, but with how much love we do it. Which is like saying it doesn't matter really how busy we are doing the things that are on our list. We can have one thing on our list, but if we do it with full spiritual love, that's enough.
So what about if we are actually able to do our work, whatever it is that we do during the day, and make it as enjoyable as we can? That is a spiritual action, in action, would you say?
Well, it's interesting you say make it as enjoyable as we can, because we've looked at other quotations too. It isn't so much a matter of doing what we love, it's doing what love demands. So it isn't a question of trying to find things that we enjoy doing. It's more like doing things that we need to do, that need to be done.
Okay, so you're saying doing the difference between not doing what we love to do, but what love demands. Oh, now that requires, for me, it requires an unpacking.
A lot of unpacking.
Unpacking, meaning what does it really mean? Because I think when we get to that point, I mean, would not, someone said that if you love, okay, if you do what you love, or if you love what you do, then you will never work one day. You will never go to work.
Unless you love your work.
Unless you love your work. Okay,
and many people do. Many of the people who perhaps seem to be the happiest are people who love their work, no matter whether they happen to be neurosurgeons or bus drivers.
Would that not be, though, that person is actually doing a spiritual action? I mean, is really doing what love demands?
Well, they may be doing a spiritual action, whether they're aware of that or not, and that's all right. Just how much one needs to be conscious or aware of what one is doing, and how much that determines whether it's a spiritual action or not. It's something, again, that needs to be unpacked a great deal and needs to be thought about a great deal. Whether we, as for instance, someone who's driving a bus, who really loves what they're doing, and can that be can they be acting in a spiritual way? Can someone, such as Mother Teresa, who is helping the poor, and gathering what is needed to help the poor, and if she is happy what she is doing, is her action actually more spiritual than the bus drivers?
In a sense, what we're trying to say here is that the more we recognize, or the more conscious we are that what we're doing is that comes from love, then as a result of being a spiritual action,